Hey guys, this is Hyrule and I'm coming at you guys with another video on Cookie Run Kingdom, and today's topic for the video is going to be on toppings. So I had a couple of viewers comment and ask me about what kind of toppings to put on their cookies. So I'm going to be going over most of the epic cookies that are in the game and what kind of toppings that I would personally recommend you guys put. This is not going to be the final say. Please know that this is your own gameplay and you have the choice on putting your own toppings on your cookies depending on your playstyle. So please don't just go by what I say, but do a little research, look at other YouTubers, look at guys online and make your decision. But please, if you guys enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button and the like button, and also comment down below and let me know what kind of other videos you guys would like to see. Anyways, let's go right into the video. Alright, so we are back in our kingdom, and before I get started with all the videos, let me go over some of the things that I want to share with you guys. So there are 10 individual toppings that are in the game currently. I don't know if they're adding more later on, but we are going to work with the 10 that we have currently in the game. So let me just go over the individual toppings that are in the game right now. So number one is going to be bouncy caramel topping, that's going to increase your attack speed. Solid almond topping, that's going to increase your damage resistance. Searing raspberry topping, going to increase your attack. Hardy hazelnut topping is going to increase your critical resistance. Swift chocolate topping is going to increase your cooldown reduction. Number 6 is hard walnut topping, that's going to increase your defense. Healthy peanut topping going to increase your HP. Sweet candy topping is going to amplify your buffs or increase your buff effect by a certain percentage. Juicy apple jelly topping is going to increase your critical damage, I believe. And then fresh kiwi topping is going to increase your debuff resistance. So I am going to be putting a picture up on the screen right now. I've linked from Codation's video that I actually watched as I started this game, and he talked about where to farm certain toppings and this picture that he found on Twitter. So this picture is going to tell you where to farm these individual toppings in the game. It's going to start from episode 6, because if you look at world exploration, you won't be able to find any epic toppings until you reach episode 6. So if you go to episode 5 and click on a certain level, you won't see any epics. You'll see only rares, and obviously you would want to farm epics if you're going to be farming. So I would recommend you guys wait until at least episode 6 to start farming your toppings. The chance of getting a certain topping is the same in world 6, 7, 8, 9 and so far, so do not worry about going higher up in the episode to farm for the individual toppings. So getting all that out of the way, I am going to be going over something else is going to be about the bonus effect that individual toppings have. So each topping has a bonus effect that the cookie could attain once that cookie equips a certain amount of that topping. So if you look at Swift chocolate topping, for example, right here on the screen, it requires 5 of this topping to have this bonus 5% cooldown to that cookie. So that is something I'll keep in mind and watch out for while you guys are deciding on which topping to put on a certain cookie, because that is going to be a big bonus, guys, in the late game, especially in the arena and world boss and things like that, or guild boss, is going to affect greatly, especially if your cookie is more of a higher level, because the number goes up, the percentage of it goes up as well. So, or the more bonus that the percentage gives. So that's something that I will keep in mind and watch out for. Finally, with all that out of the way, I'm going to be going over the individual toppings that certain cookies are going to need, or I'll recommend. So just to keep in mind, just like I said in the intro, this is my opinion and you guys don't need to follow it. But if you guys need some recommendations and something to just easily follow, then you're always welcome to follow mine. There are other videos that other YouTubers have done, I'm sure, and there are guys out in the internet, so you guys can research it if you guys would like some more insight on what kind of toppings you guys could put on your cookies. But a viewer who commented that wanted some questions answered, so I'm going to be going over 6 epic cookies that he has posted. Jacob, thank you for commenting and letting me know about this video idea. So let me start with a Madeleine Cookie that he has. So Madeleine Cookie is going to be a defense cookie, and he's going to be performing as a defensive cookie or character, whatever you want to call it, right? So looking at his skill is not based off of any of his stats. So I would, basically recommend put in defensive toppings such as almond, walnut, peanut or hazelnut. But mainly I'll say walnut, just so that you can just increase his defense all the way. Either equip 3 of them or 5 of them. 5 of them is recommended, 3 of them, and you can mix and match with other toppings such as peanut toppings so that you can increase a little bit of HP, or I believe, the hazelnut to increase your critical resistance. But I personally haven't used any hazelnut topping, so I don't know how great they are really in the game, because I just feel like defense or just straight up damage resistance is one of the best things for your tanks. So that is going to be what I recommend for Madeleine Cookie. So moving on to the next cookie is going to be Black Raisin Cookie. She just came out into the game with the pure vanilla cookie, and as an ambush character or ambush cookie, I would just recommend you going Searing Raspberry to increase the raw damage of the cookie. However, if you want to do something else, then Swift Chocolate is going to work because you can use the ability more often. If not, you can also put in a Juicy Apple Jelly topping, which is going to increase the critical damage, I believe, of the cookie. So which is going to work, but if you want to proc the additional bonus, you're gonna have to equip 5 of them. So depending on what you have, go with what you want, but I would recommend either the raspberry or the Swift Chocolate, in my opinion, to maximize its damage and potential. So next one is going to be Pomegranate. Pomegranate is going to be a support character or support cookie that is going to be increasing damage mainly. So if you're using Pomegranate as your main healer, I would recommend you swap it out or swap another cookie out for a main healer, because Pomegranate's healing is not that great compared to other healers in the game. So she's more of a buffer. So she's going to buff 20% of the attack for 7 seconds, which is a huge buff. So that's why I would just recommend you put in Sweet Candy so that you amplify the buff effect. That is going to be a very simple one. Rye Cookie is a damage dealer, range in the rear, and something that I would do for Rye Cookie is going to be either Searing Raspberry again, because main DPS, right? Or I can recommend you to do Bouncy Caramel just so that you can gain more attack speed, or something like the Juicy Apple Jelly again, so that you can increase the critical damage of the cookie, or maybe even just Swift Chocolate. But something to keep in mind, if you look at Rye Cookie's skill, it's 72% of the damage dealt, and then it already has a 50% attack speed increase. So if you want to attack even faster, then put in the attack speed for the Bouncy Caramel topping. If not, just put in Searing Raspberry or even the Juicy Apple Jelly topping. So next one is going to be Latte, one of my favorite. That I would only recommend 2 toppings for her, because she is really a main DPS and you want to maximize her damage. So if you want to do that, Searing Raspberry is going to be great. If not, you can also put in Swift Chocolate just like any of the other DPSs, because it's going to allow you to use her ability more often than not having it on her. So those are the 2 toppings that I would put on Latte. Moving on to the last one that he asked about is Almond Cookie. So Almond Cookie I don't really use, but because his his skill is just 70% of damage link, so his ability allows him to link the enemy cookies in the field, and whoever takes damage is going to deal damage to the surrounding cookies that are linked to him or linked to it. So something that I'll recommend is, I believe, just Swift Chocolate, so that you can use it more often. I haven't really tried the sweet candy on Almond to see if it amplifies the buff, but I don't think it does. So really just going with the Swift Chocolate is probably the best for Almond Cookie. Now moving on to the other epics in the game. So that's gonna be it for Jacob's question. So there you go, Jacob. Those are the toppings that I put on your cookies. So let's go on from the top left on my screen. So although it's not an epic, Ancient Cookie, the pure vanilla, it just came out. I have it. I use it as my main healer. He's great. If you look at his skill, his healing is based off of his attack. So it's a huge number of 173% of his attack is going to be used as the healing amount. So all I'm gonna do is going to be stacking attack on him so that I can increase the amount of healing that my cookies are gonna get. So his shield that he creates is always going to stay at 20%. So I guess you can put in the sweet candy so that you can amplify the buff a little bit. But I mean, the shield is already really good, and pure vanilla is going to be the strongest really healer regarding to number, at least. So I would just recommend you just putting in searing raspberry all on him. Going on to dark choco, because I went over latte and almond already. Dark choco is going to be my tank, so I have put in solid almond, all 5 of them, just for that extra bonus that I could get. If not, you guys can always put in, just like I said with Madeleine Cookie, almond, walnut, peanut, or hazelnut. Mix and match if you guys want to. Just keep in mind the little bonuses that each individual topping gives. So that is what I will do for my dark choco, or which I have done for my dark choco. And herb cookie, he was my main healer until I got pure vanilla, so he is not being used currently. But before I got pure vanilla, I put in all 5 searing raspberry, because once again the healing is based off of attack. So I'm going to be stacking attack on my cookie so that I can maximize the amount of healing that he's going to do. Something to keep in mind for healers, the sweet candy is not going to work because in the game the healing is not considered a buff. So just because you put in sweet candy to amplify the buff, it's not going to do more healing. So keep in mind that part of the game, guys. So I already did pomegranate, Madeleine, rye. I'm going on to vampire. So vampire cookie was another cookie that I used before I got all the other cookies. So something that I did without knowing anything was put in this sweet candy, and I actually fully upgraded, which I totally regret, because there was no point of it really for me to waste all my resources. But amplifying buff is really not going to do anything. So something that I'll recommend you put on vampire cookie is going to be Swift Chocolate, so that you can use a little more of its ability. You can do the juicy jelly or juicy apple jelly, so that you can increase the critical damage if for that crit, or just the searing raspberry to increase the damage. So that is what I would put in for vampire. He does a ton of damage, so if, as you can see, 667.9%, that is huge. So alright, so moving on to poison mushroom cookie. So poison mushroom cookie is going to be more of just like a constant damage, so you can put in critical damage with the juicy apple jelly, or just Swift chocolate so that you can spam his bombs, or just like any other ones, just very simple singing raspberry. And that is what I will recommend for poison mushroom cookie. He was actually my first epic after the chili pepper that you guarantee get. So I mean, I used it for a little bit. It was great, but it wasn't that good, so was quickly replaced from my team. Moving on to the chili pepper. As an ambush character, again, damage is everything, so I would recommend the same thing for black raspberry, or that I recommended for black raspberry. So Swift chocolate to increase the amount of times you can use the ability, or just going straight up searing raspberry is just going to be great, or just doing the crit damage with the this one, juicy apple jelly. I always get mixed up with these, so because they're all the same color, I don't know. So that is what I'm gonna be recommending for chili pepper cookie. Everyone gets one, so great unit to start off with. Next one, sparkling cookie. Sparkling cookie is another buffer, so it's gonna increase the crit damage by 15% for 7 seconds, and then doing a healing of 139% of the attack. So once again, if you're gonna use sparkling cookie as your buffer, like a pomegranate cookie, then putting in that amplify buff with the sweet candy topping is going to be good. If not, you're using him as a main healer, then putting searing raspberry is going to be most likely recommended for his topping. Moving on to mint Choco cookie. He is also a buffer and a healer, so if you are using him as a main healer, like all the other cookies that I recommended, searing raspberry is going to be the best option for you. If not, then if you're going to use him as a buffer for that 40% attack speed, then going the sweet candy to amplify the buff is going to be another option. Alright, moving on to licorice cookie, a cookie that I personally use for my team and that I love to use actually, is going to be hard walnut for me, at least, because if you look at his skill, licorice cookie actually deals damage, right? A whopping 336.5% damage, and is going to increase defense, so he's doing damage, giving buffs, and then also summoning licorice servants with 3% of its attack, 150% of the defense, and 50% of HP. So that is a lot of numbers, right? But the main thing here is it's 150% of the defense. So if I'm stacking a lot of defense on my licorice cookie, it's going to make my little servants even tankier. So because my team has only dark Choco in the front, I wanted to have extra defense, so I just put in a lot of defense on my licorice, so that when he summons the little units, it's going to do a lot of tanking for me. So that is my personal choice. If not, you guys want to use licorice as your main DPS, searing raspberry is going to be great. If you want to summon a little more of the servants quickly, then you can put in swift chocolate, or you can do the amplifying buff with the sweet candy if you want to increase a little bit of that defense bonus. Moving on to the milk cookie, or milk cookie. He is a great tank, especially for the story mission, so I see a lot of people use him for the story mission, not really for arena and the guild boss, but it's because of this minus 50% damage, or 50% damage reduction that he has built in on his skill, which is just great, right? So if you want to just make him as a full tank, going 5 walnut is going to be good, or even 5 almond. If not, you can mix and match a little bit with walnut and peanut, or walnut and hazelnut, depending on what kind of toppings that are available to you or you want to kind of use. But mainly milk cookie is going to be generally good for that 50% damage reduction already built in on his skill. So why not just build a little more defense so that he takes even less damage, right? Going on to Tiger Lily Cookie, I believe she was my second epic that I got and used her a lot in the beginning stages, but Her skill, she rides a tiger, she stuns enemies, and the damage she takes is going to be on the tiger, so it's not going to be on her HP, I believe. So she's a great unit. She can give you buff as well, or let's see, I don't personally know if it's increasing her attack speed or the entire teams. I haven't really checked that out in game. I don't remember when I first started, so I guess I can check it out later on. But it's giving 25% attack speed for 10 seconds, which is a lot for a long time. So you can obviously put in the sweet candy as well, again, for the amplifying the buff for the attack speed if you would like. But if you're using Tiger Lily as your main DPS, like you should be if you're putting her in the team, then putting Searing Raspberry is going to be good. If not, the crit damage for the Juicy Apple topping. So that is going to be it for Tiger Lily Cookie. Going on to Kumiho, she is a charge unit or in the front line, just like Dark Choco, but she is, she's a fox when she starts out. So if you want to use her as a tank, you can do the tank builds just like how the defensive role got, like the almond, walnut, peanut, and hazelnut once again. If not, you want to use her a little bit as a DPS, then Searing Raspberry is going to be good, because Searing Raspberry has a 3 equip, so you can just put in 3 and then maybe put in like 2 of the healthy peanut to gain the HP bonus, or the hazelnut for the crit resist, whatever you want to do. But that is what I would generally recommend for Kumiho. And then something that I recently got from my pulls is Snow Sugar Cookie. Snow Sugar Cookie is going to do constant damage and also going to be giving debuffs. So amplifying buffs is not going to do much, I believe. But if you want to spam her ability, I believe you can put in Swift Chocolate, just like any of the spammy builds, right? And then I will recommend Juicy Apple for that crit damage, because it's not going to be a one-time damage, but it's going to be a constant damage. So that is going to be a good option for Snow Sugar Cookie. So that's going to be all the epics that I have, but obviously there are epics that I haven't unlocked, or which are going to be Espresso Cookie, the Purple Yam, the Cream Puff, and Werewolf. So going on to Espresso Cookie, just like Latte, she's going to be, or I think it's a he, right? So Espresso Cookie is going to be doing a lot of damage again. So if you want to be using the ability more often, then Swift Chocolate is going to be the option that you should go for. If not, just raw damage, Searing Raspberry is going to be the best option for you. Purple Yam Cookie is a tank, and I actually haven't gotten him. I saw a couple of people use him, but just going to be doing tornado damage. I think it's very similar to Strawberry Cookie that you start off with, dealing 54% of the damage. So if you want to use him more of a damage, then you can do Searing Raspberry, and then mix and match with a little bit of, I would say, peanut, so that you can gain some HP. If not, just going full defensive build is going to be another option for you, doing walnut or almond, mix and match with peanut or hazelnut. So that's gonna be it. Cream Puff Cookie, something that you could only get from the guild gacha that I still haven't gotten. My friend got it and he didn't even know it was a very rare cookie. She's going to do healing and doing damage at the same time, so if you want to use her as a damage dealer, Searing Raspberry is going to be great. Once again, Swift Chocolate topping is another option if you want to use the ability more often. Just those 2 toppings are going to be the best option for her, because I wouldn't be using her mainly as a healer. So just damage, which is a whopping 280%, which is huge, on top of a 40% heal. So Werewolf Cookie is going to be mainly a tank. You can use him as a sub, like DPS kind of build. So Searing Raspberry on top of peanut, healthy peanut, is going to be an option for you if you're using Werewolf as your sub DPS / tank. If not, just going straight up tank build is going to be the best option for you if you're using Werewolf, because mainly the Werewolf Cookie is going to be in the front line with your other ambush cookie or magic cookie that like espresso or latte. Okay, so that was a lot of cookies that I went over, and a lot of repeats really, because a lot of the cookies are based on attack, especially healing is based off on attack. Their skill damage is based off of attack, and buffing characters, support characters are self-explanatory with, you know, amplifying the buff. So a lot of these other toppings that we really didn't talk about, like debuff resist, critical resist, those kind of things are not really like recommended really, or at least personally I don't recommend, because just those flat stats are the things that I would personally, you know, just use. Anyways, that is gonna be it, guys, for me. This was actually a long video. I try to talk faster and go over it a little quickly, but it took a long time. So something that I want to ask you guys is, I have saved up 48,000 gems or crystals on top of whatever the maintenance and the bonus does that I got, especially from the new event. And also I have 18 of the magic cookie cutters. So if you guys want to see a gacha pull or you want me to pull for a little more of the black raisin cookie, or you know, or just the regular one, you guys can leave a comment down below. Maybe I'll do like maybe 20,000. And I am waiting for me to get a little more of the light of truth so that I can do more pulling on the nether gacha before it ends. I mean, you still have like 31 days, or yeah, 31 days, so you know, that's gonna be a long time. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for leaving comments down below to give me more ideas on these kind of videos. Everything helps, guys, so I really appreciate you guys watching my videos and leaving comments down below. Once again, if you guys enjoy this content and you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. It's going to help this channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of the support. If you guys have anything that you want me to do or make a video on, please leave it down in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching this video once again, guys, and I will see you guys next time.